Hello, hello, hello. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening, sir.
Evening. Welcome to my introductory session. Okay. Hello, can you hear me, everyone? I see like 4 persons in class.
Yes, sir, I can hear you.
Yes, we can hear you, sir.
Okay, so that was Akin and Stella, Ben, Johnson. Can you hear me? Oh, okay. All right, so my name is Akin Aregbesola, and then I just wanted to have this session with you to introduce, I know that many of you are completely new to IT, to introduce basic concepts and then answer the fundamental questions that you might have as to the way to go when it comes to developing a career in IT, or specifically in the arm of IT that I offer, which is DevOps Engineering. All right, here I'm going to explain what DevOps is, specifically in relation to IT in general, right? So just give me like an hour or two to give you this introduction, and then thereafter I can take specific questions. Hopefully I would have answered many of your questions during the introduction. All right, is that fine?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah. Good. Okay, so I'll be doing drawings so that you can at least, since we are not doing practicals yet, let me try and put this in perspective. All right, so in IT, in information tech, first of all, what is information technology? When we talk about IT, what do we mean? All right, so the full meaning of IT is information technology. IT. And the concept of IT starts when you have a computer. Let us represent a computer by that. That's your keyboard, and that's you there, and that's your screen. So when you have a computer and all you do with this computer is like we used to do in the 80s, your word processing, your PowerPoint, and everything you do here is just for you alone. We call this computer stand alone. These days, this kind of computer like typewriter, just by itself, not connected to anything else, is useless. It's useless. It has no use in modern day technology, right? So this is not what we want. What we want is for 2, 3, 4 computers to be connected together. Now, let me go back now. Okay. So what is more realistic these days is for you to have one bear with me. For you to have one computer, then another computer, and yet another computer. Of course, since if you can have 1, 2, 3 computers, then you want to have all of these computers connected together so that they can share resources. In other words, you have a file here, you can access that file from here without necessarily standing up to go to this computer. You have internet connected to this computer, you can have that internet connected to this computer also available on computer 2 and computer 1, because you are sharing this internet resource from this computer. When you have this kind of reality where you share resources between computers, then you say you have a network, a computer network. All right. So this one, I mean, all of these 3 computers, in reality, it could be 300, 700, 1,000 computers connected together now forms a network. And when this network is within a building, within an office, we usually call this kind of network local area network, LAN. That's the short name. All right. So when you have this kind of computer within a building, you call it LAN. And this is the beginning of IT. This is where IT starts. We start to refer to this concept as information technology, not when you are using a computer all by yourself without interaction and without relationship to other computers. These days, it doesn't have to be computer. It could be car, could be refrigerator, could be mobile phone, but just we're just using computer for illustration. All right. So a local area network will be this interconnection. Again, if we go, just dive a little bit deeper. Usually there is a device here in the middle of this topology, like you are seeing it, that enables this computer through this cable to connect to this computer. So the data will come through that to this device, and then from this device, the data can be switched to any of the many devices that are also connected to this device. So this device in IT is called a switch. Right? So a network within a building is called LAN. But usually within a LAN, you want to make the network secure. What do we mean by secure? We mean that you may want to introduce a computer, one computer amongst the many computers that make up the LAN, and put in this computer an operating system so that anybody trying to access this network from the outside world, from the world outside of the network, will have to go through this operating system. Within this operating system, this user that is trying to connect, or this resource that is trying to connect, his credentials will be viewed against a register. And then based on based on what is seen there, he's either allowed to come into the network and access whatever he wants to access, or denied access to the network. All right, so this computer that allows that is generally called a server. And this concept of should we allow, should we not allow, based on what we find in this register, even if we allow, what should we allow this user access to? The fact that he should be able to come into the network does not necessarily mean that he should be able to access this computer, for example, or that he should be able to access this computer. It may mean that he's only able to access this computer 3 and the resources within computer 3. So there's a register against which you check every user to see whether they should be allowed in, and once they're allowed in, what they can do. And even once they are allowed in and they are allowed to do what they can do, they should be monitored. Everything they do should be logged into the system. Anyway, let's not go too deep. So basically, this concept, this server, and the concept that I just explained is what we call security. Security. So this is the server that is ensuring security for this network. When we have a local area network that has this kind of security feature within it, we call that kind of local area network corporate network. But not all local area networks will necessarily have this server that ensures security. For example, the local area network you have in your home that is connecting your TV to all of the computers in your respective rooms to your internet. Yeah, it's a form of local area network, but it may not necessarily have a security feature installed and monitored by this server. So you could also have networks that are not necessarily corporate. Right? In other words, they don't have security features. Anybody can go into the network, anybody can come into the network, and nothing monitors them as to what they can access. Such networks are used in homes. So we call them small office, home office network. Basically, the kind of network you have at home. They are usually small networks called LAN. So anywhere we say LAN, we mean small network. How small can the small network be? Usually between 2 and 900 computers. It's a small network, all right? It could be corporate, where security is involved and there is a server responsible for that. Usually, actually, the server is usually Windows server. Windows server operating system. Yes, I know that I'm introducing so many terminologies that you may not be familiar with, but just allow me to give you an overview. By the time you go for proper training, then all of this will be explained in details. All right. So Windows Server is the manager of this server that ensures security and has that Active Directory that every user is compared. Every user credential is compared with before they're allowed in or out. Now, we said this is a small network. What about a network where you have to have like 7,000 users? It's no longer a small network. 30,000 users, 400,000 users. And because we have so many users, we're no longer talking about these users connecting to the central device that has the resource that everybody's connecting to. So some of them are connecting wirelessly through mobile phones. Some of them are connecting maybe through wired fiber, through laptops. Some are connecting through, most of them through TV. Others are connecting through, again, wireless, and so on and so forth. So when you have this kind of big network, right, this is designed for wireless connection, this is designed for wired connection, right? Of course, this central equipment to which they are all connected is the equipment that has the service that they are interested in. They are connecting maybe to view a movie. In other words, this is the server that houses the movie. They are connected maybe to view a database. This is the server that houses the database. So generally, this service is retained in the computer called server, right? So that's the server. When you have this kind of big network compared to this kind of small network, we call this kind of big network enterprise. Enterprise network. So this is the kind of network that we will be interested in if you are going along the line of the training that I offer. We'll be talking about big networks, not small corporate networks. We're talking about big networks that can accommodate 3 million, 10 million, 1 billion, 2 billion consumers, subscribers, users at the same time. An example of such network would be Zoom. Right now, we are connected to a single network, the same network, Zoom. And as we are connected right here, there are millions of other meetings going on Zoom as well. All right? We are connected through Zoom server. So this is an example of enterprise network. All of the telecoms network, AT&T, what are they? T-Mobile, and so on and so forth. Anywhere you hear millions of subscribers connecting or millions of users connecting, is always an enterprise network behind it, because the smaller kind of network called LAN cannot take up to that number. And because of that, the operating system running in the server are different. So the operating system that will run on this kind of server is what? Windows Server Operating System. That Windows Server cannot manage this server that is managing millions of users. It will crash. This traffic will be too heavy for a Windows server. So for that reason, there is a more flexible, a lighter, a more secure, a generally more acceptable and most industry enterprise level friendly operating system. It is not called Windows. That operating system is called Linux. Linux. So when you come into IT, depending on what arm of IT you are training for, one of the first things you will learn is Linux as an operating system. In other words, in this kind of environment, enterprise environment, how would you install this server and make it available to millions of subscribers using Linux operating system? Linux operating system is the operating system that will make all of this possible. It is the base software that must be in place doing its work for you to be able to make services possible to share from this server. If you have a file that you want to share on this server, if you do not already have Linux running in the server, you cannot share that file. If you have a video to make available to the whole world, if you do not already have Linux operating system running on this server, you cannot make it possible. You cannot share that video. But whatever it is that you want to place on this server for the world or your customer, even if it's not the world, even if it's just 500,000 customers, corporate clients across the world, then you must first of all have Linux. So what is Linux? How do you install it? How do you manage it? How do you use Linux to do that work? That is what you'll be learning when you say, I'm learning Linux. Even this corporate LAN will not be the head office of the owner of that service. They also will be connected through broadband, maybe through fiber network, to that same server. In fact, there's no separation. This server would actually be inside the corporate. So let's simplify that. So what am I saying? I'm saying that even corporate offices are now part of the enterprise office. They are not independent. They are part. They are also part and parcel. So if you have 5 offices spread across the US, all of the 5 offices will be connected, whatever they are, to this same enterprise network, where each of the 5 offices will simply be a local area. All right, so let's see if I've been communicating so far. So, so what is a standalone computer? A computer that is by itself and not connected to any other device. When you have a computer connected to one or two or multiple other devices, what do you call the resulting connection of all of the devices? What's it called in IT? Anybody?
That's LAN.
Yes, that's a network.
Local area network.
Yeah, that's a network. So depending on the size of the network, whether it's within a room, within a building, compared to networks that may be spreading across a whole town or a whole city, you may say that that is a local area network. All right. When I have a network that is connecting 300 devices, what do I call that kind of local area network? Okay, that's not complete. That's already a local area network actually.
Yeah.
When I have a local area network that has security implemented on it, what do I call that kind of local area network?
Corporate network.
Correct. All right. Can you give me an example of work place that operates corporate network?
You can say like Amazon.
Amazon is big. It's fat. It's the biggest company in the world.
Okay.
So a bank, for example, a bank of 25
bank.
workers, 30 workers.
We can say Netflix.
Netflix is big, so it's bigger than corporate.
Mhm.
So small, just look at a building around you. Once there is computer service on that building, then they are running corporate network. All right. So when you walk into your bank to do a transaction, the network facility within that building, I'm not talking about all of the bank networks combined, though, just within that building, it's a corporate network. Good, you are doing great so far. All right. So when do we begin to recognize networks as not corporate but enterprise?
That is when they have about 1 million or from 1,000 upward.
Okay.
So
Yes.
like going to 1 billion, 2 million, 3 million. So
okay.
And they have and they have a multiple location, right?
Yeah, multiple locations. Somebody said that. Yeah, that's great. That's beautiful. Awesome. So if anyone in this class is interested in, somebody in this class is interested in becoming a network administrator for a corporate network, what operating system should that person go and learn in order to become the administrator of this network here? What network operating, yes, that's correct. What network operating system does this network run from its server in order to make it corporate?
Like Windows Server.
Windows Server. So that person
Windows
should know, that person should go and learn Windows Server. That way, he will know how to manage, how to administer. That's the technical word for manage this kind of network. But if the person's interest is he wants to work for Netflix, he wants to work for Amazon, he wants to work for big networks, what server, the servers of big networks, what operating system do they run?
Linux.
Linux. So that person should fundamentally go and learn Linux so that he can help those organizations manage their system. When he learns Linux, then he's now able to manage this entire system. And this system with this refrigerator, this Tesla car, this mobile phone, this TV, this human being through 666, everything is connected. So together, everything now is system, right? It's system. And because we are running Linux operating system, we say Linux system. And then the person who is now able to administer this server in order to manage all of those facilities is administrator. So at the end of Linux class, that person will become Linux system administrator. All right. So that will be the beginning of a technical IT career towards being a DevOps engineer. All right, beautiful. Let's take it a step further. Now, the concept that we had in mind here when I was discussing all of this was that you have a physical computer, a physical device, you have a server room where everything here is physical, all right? But these days, things are no longer physical. If I have a contract to set up this kind of network so that I can, for example, take in data from the head office, 5 billion records, and use my data analytics skill to process that data and give it back to them so that they can, right? If I have that kind of contract, I'm no longer going to hire to rent a hall and lay cables and hire staff and ask them to come to my office. No, that is old school. So what we have now is that all of these devices, including the server, now have the virtual. So I can simply go into a place where all of these resources are already available virtually, not physically. They're available virtually, owned by companies. All right. So there's server there. There are operating systems there. There are devices there. What else did we talk about here? There are even lamps there. There's security there. Everything you'd ever need. In fact, much more than you would ever need to set up a network and run your software in the network. Everything's already here. You can set up a full-fledged telecommunications company without even setting up a single base station. All of the services are already provided within virtually. You know the meaning of virtual? It's not real. You know, when you see yourself in the mirror, that image is virtual. It's not real. You are the real person. You move around. So, but the image is as good as you. When we see your image, we see you. All right. Now, all of these facilities, network facilities, are now available in this place that we can simply go to and click what we want, and it will come alive and we can use it. So this place is called cloud. And that cloud and all of its infrastructure and facilities are made available by 3 big companies. One company is Amazon. The second company is Microsoft. And the third company is Google. There are other companies, but these are the 3 biggest cloud providers. The cloud facility provided by Amazon is called Amazon Web Services. The one owned and presented to you by Microsoft is called Microsoft Azure. And the one by Google is called Google Cloud Platform. All right? So in my class, we'll not be jumping from one provider to another. We'll just focus on one provider and learn cloud from the perspective of that provider. And that provider will be AWS because it is the biggest of all the cloud service providers. Biggest means that it is the service that most of the employers out there looking for cloud professionals. This is the service they are using. All right. So within cloud, you can now set up corporate network, but corporate network is very, very tiny. Our interest is always about scalability and high dependability. In other words, we want a network that even if we want to put 1 trillion people on that network, it will not fail us. So we're always talking about enterprise when it comes to cloud. We are moving our enterprise from physical environment, and we are expanding the limitations and the concept we had 3, 5, 7 years ago from physical job and physical server to the virtualized version of those environments, of those servers, of those infrastructure. So hence, even when we're talking about enterprise network these days, we are still talking about enterprise within cloud environment. So your Linux that we talked about here, you are now going to go into cloud, set up a server, and you put Linux there and learn Linux in cloud. Right? So everything that we knew before cloud, somebody like me, I've been around for so many years, and I had already done like 20 years in IT before cloud came out, but I would become almost useless if I do not migrate all of the skills that I have from corporate to enterprise, migrate all of those skills into cloud so that what I was able to do before the emergence of cloud, I am now also able to do even within cloud. And for you that you are just coming into IT, you do not even know, you probably have not worked in that kind of environment before, you have not even worked in physical enterprise environment, it is very okay for you to go straight into what is in vogue now in your time and learn to do all of these things within cloud environment. So that is why every time we're talking about, we want to learn IT, we also we always talk about learning IT within cloud so that you can perform and know all of these things, but within cloud. Cloud is the new environment. All right. So do you see the place of cloud in IT now?
Yes.
Okay. So can you give me just one example of what does cloud do, by the way, first, before you give me one example of what you can find? What is cloud from this explanation? Not really detailed technical, nothing, just simply what?
Like it's like a voucher. It's a where enterprise can come together at once, and every organizations can just tap into it and do whatever they want to do instead of going to the old system using the enterprise method or corporate method.
Yes, corporate and enterprise methods are still available within cloud. So what is the key word that you want to really bring out when anytime you mention cloud? Anybody? When you say cloud, what does it bring to mind that distinguishes it from the environments pre-cloud, the environments we had before we began to have cloud? Anybody? All right, so the person who tried before, can you try again? Because you started right at the beginning, just that beginning and so apparently you are the only person talking. So yeah. So what's the big deal with cloud? What's the difference between what we had before cloud and what we have now with cloud? So cloud is a virtualized environment. It's virtualization.
Okay.
The virtualized environment compared to where you mentioned corporate and enterprise, you wanted to mention physical. So compared to physical environment, cloud is virtualization, virtualized environment. So instead of physical computers, we're talking about virtual computers. Instead of physical cables, we're talking about virtual cables in cloud. All right, so that's the keyword. The physical enterprise, physical environment virtualized. All right, so what can you, now, when we talk about enterprise or even corporate, this is cable, this is switch, this is computer, this is, now all of the little units of items, devices, even the ones that you cannot see, software, hardware, that come together to form a network. Together we refer to them all as network infrastructure. That's what we call them. So if I say, give me one example of a network infrastructure, it will be server. Give me another example, computer. Give me another example, switch. Give me another example, the operating system. All of the components, any component at all that would be relevant on this network that you need in order to make this network work, is part of the network infrastructure.
So do we count router as one thing?
Definitely, it's a major network infrastructure. All right. So who cannot mention only one network infrastructure that you will find in cloud? Just one. So you are going into cloud to build a network for your organization that your organization will use to deploy some application. Just mention one thing that you should be, one of the many components that you expect to find in cloud in order to successfully build it. Yeah. All right, so you're not going to get the best out of me from this class because it looks like you guys just on your laptop and you're using me to do that.
No, I'm here though.
No, Ben is here, but I mean, I have other people in class and they're just watching they're not taking this seriously.
No, actually, so I just switched to my laptop. And one of the things that we need, you need a server, you need a switch.
Yes, server is okay. Just one is okay. Yeah, just tell me server because we'll be talking about it from the beginning. So you cannot tell me that you want to come into IT and I'll be talking about server, this, and you cannot tell me one thing here. So it doesn't encourage me. It just makes me feel like you just on your.
Sorry about that, sir.
To waste my time. All right, so I appreciate that answer, and I expect that kind of feedback to be able to. All right, so server, I mean, that's the simplest one. All right, so good. Now, you have at least an idea what you expect to find in cloud in order to be able to build up the same kind of network that we talked about. It's just that it's no longer physical. And because you are looking at networks that are scalable, like we said, that can take not just 300, 400 people in this modern world, when people come up with ideas that can make millions within 1 year, you don't want to play with small networks. You want access to big networks. So that's why we keep talking about enterprise level networks in cloud, even though cloud also supports corporate networks. All right. So now that you have this basis, let us see the place of a DevOps engineer in all of this. DevOps engineer. By the way, IT is very wide. IT is big. There are different specializations in IT. One of them is DevOps engineer. All right, let me explain what DevOps engineering is. And then in the process, I can mention any other term that comes. All right, guys. So on one side, we have cloud. So that is cloud. Cloud. When you go into cloud, what do you set up? You set up your complete infrastructure, but major among them is what server.
Yes.
In this server, the goal, your intention is to put your software here. Generally, we call the software application, so that this application is available to the world. For example, as Uber. So Uber is running inside here, and through this server, Uber as an application hosted in cloud is available to the world. To this man in Japan, to this man in New York, to this man in Africa, everybody is able, I mean, because you designed it for everybody. All right. So this is the goal. The goal is maybe they are not paying some subscription fee or somehow you are making your money. So the goal is to have a solution that you have developed, launched in this server, so that that solution is now available to your customer. Do you see the end result that we're expecting?
Yes.
Good. This is always the goal. Every time we talk about server, cloud, this is what we have in mind. What we have in mind that, oh, we have people that we have designed and developed the solution for, and we have now successfully put it in. So when we have this here, we call this part our operations. Now there is another part of this whole process. This is the part where we have software developers, programmers that will take our idea. This thing occurred as idea the first time. So somebody took our idea and then broke it down to something that programmers can relate with. And then these programmers, these coders, but generally we call them developers, they wrote the codes for our idea, and then they put the code inside this place. So this place is code. Save for code, we call it code repo. So there is developer on this side, developers, and then we have operations, right? So what we have here is the raw code that developers from India, from Pakistan, from Africa, from all of them collaborating from all across the world, working from home. They write codes and they push all of their codes into this repo. So on one hand, your raw code, the raw code for this application is available. On the other hand, the application is built from the raw code and made available to the world. So what about from this point, when the code is available, to this point, when the code is ultimately deployed to operation? The DevOps, so DevOps from dev here, and then ops from here, is responsible for taking this code and building a bridge that we call pipeline that will carry this code all the way from development into operation. So as a DevOps engineer, you are not going to be a developer, but you are going to learn enough cloud. You are going to learn cloud enough to understand what happens in operations so that you can take these codes written by developers and convert it to application and then launch the application here. But the application that you are going to launch here, who is going to help you to set up the server into which you launch the application? You also should be able to set up the server by yourself. So for that reason, you are going to learn cloud solutions architecting so that you can set up servers and manage servers in cloud using Linux. So you will learn Linux, you will learn cloud, and then you will learn how to collaborate and fetch the codes from developers, and then you learn how to build CI/CD pipelines so that you can put the codes there and the codes will run through this bridge into operation. This is the work of DevOps engineer. And all of this you will be doing from your own laptop that you now connect to both dev and operation. You'll be running everything remotely from here. So this is you. And then you need your Linux inside here. And then you'll now be running so many tools inside that Linux that will help you complete this process. Yes. But if you want to be a DevOps engineer, this is where you will be. So as a DevOps engineer, you are not a specialist. So we're talking about other arms of IT now. So one arm of IT is for you to be writing codes and pushing the codes here. That is a specialist. Another arm of IT is for you to be an expert in one of the many bus stops that you are going to create here in the process of setting this up. So somebody can be an expert in Jenkins, somebody can be an expert in Ansible, and so on and so forth. But you, at least at this level, you'll be a generalist. You know a bit here, a bit here, a bit of this, a bit of this, a bit of this. About operations, how to set up server, how to make it available. And even when the application is already running in your operations, you need to be able to monitor the operations so that in case there's any error, you can get, even when there's no error, and continuously get feedback from what is happening in your operations. This is the place of DevOps. All right, so like you would have, like we've talked about, so as a DevOps engineer, you need Linux. You need a cloud solution. That's the title. Because cloud is very big and very wide. There are different titles. So many things you can do in cloud, but the one that you'll be doing is Cloud Solutions Architect. Yeah. And then, of course, you now do DevOps. And then within DevOps, there are so many tools that you need. Right? So many tools.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, the tools that you need to build there. For example, you have a Git,
GitHub.
GitHub. You have a Maven, you have Jenkins, you have Ansible, and so on and so forth. All right, these are many tools that you need. And then for deployment, in addition to what you learned in cloud, you may also want to learn the modern way that is emerging now to deploy, so that you don't have to create servers the old way. You are now creating servers the new way and deploy them in a way that we call Kubernetes. All right, so these are big terms for now, but all of this will ideally take you 5 months. This one and cloud will take 1 month. Then, there's a part that I missed. It's called infrastructure as code. So you learn infrastructure as code, all right? And so on and so forth. All together, you take 5 months. All right, so before I stop and allow you to ask questions, now, because these tools are so many, and you pick them from different places, there's a Docker Hub, there's Dockerization, and so on and so forth. So remember we mentioned Microsoft as one of the cloud service providers?
Yes.
Microsoft now created a solution so that we don't have to go and learn this, go and learn this, go and learn this, go and learn this in order to become DevOps, in order to deploy application. We can simply learn just the service that Microsoft has created, and we can use this route to accomplish DevOps without going through this long route. So this new service that Microsoft has created to help us deploy application using the DevOps methodology is called Azure DevOps. Azure DevOps. All right. So this is now also a new course that we're also teaching as part of the curriculum. So you first of all learn a solution that Microsoft, because people are also now getting job with this. So if you can get job with this one platform, then at least even if you will learn this one, it will be later because you already have a 6-figure job. So we are okay. In the first 2 months, you will learn Linux and cloud basics and then learn Azure DevOps, just enough for you to go and start looking for job. And for somebody who may say, oh, yeah, I know, I understand that, but I want to go all the way and be an expert right away. Then the person can go through all of this and become an expert. All right, so that is what we've broken down here. Let me share my screen.
Quick one, sir. What is CI/CD? You made mention of that the other time.
Yes. CI/CD means continuous integration and continuous deployment.
Okay.
So it is the concept of taking codes from developers and building it into application for operations.
Oh, okay.
Yes. And then the automation of that process is what we call continuous integration, continuous deployment. So every time we mention DevOps, we usually mention that along DevOps because that is like the main role of a DevOps engineer, to build that pipeline and to maintain that pipeline. All right, so before I allow you to ask questions, let me just show you the breakdown of this discussing. So we'll come back here now. Can you see my screen? Can you see the website? Can you see the DevOps website?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, so this is our website, and this is talking about the different courses. But if you click here, then we'll go to the brochure. And then here you see what I tried to explain earlier on, that altogether is a 5 months course. However, the 5-month course is broken down into first 2 months, you will learn Linux and cloud basics, and that will give you good enough foundation to learn Azure DevOps. And with that one, you can start looking for work as Azure DevOps Administrator. All right, that's just the entry level. You may want to go on to the intermediate level of saying, you know what, I want to just go all the way and learn this thing deeper, at a deeper level than the 2 months. So that will take you to another 2 months of AWS Solutions Architecting and DevOps Engineering with theICD. All right? And then at that level, the thing about IT is you never arrive. You never get to a level where you say, finally I know everything.
Yeah.
So you may want to continue, because it just depends on the competition out there. If the people you are competing against, when a job is, you attend first interview, second interview, third interview, and the kind of questions they are asking are beyond what you covered here, then you may want to say, you know what, let me just go all the way to Kubernetes, and then you now learn continuous deployment. And I'm going to include Python here, Kubernetes and Python coding for automation. And then here you focus more on the automation of things to Kubernetes. As for the different courses, the course outline for those modules, under Microsoft Azure, in the first 4 weeks, you learn all of them. And then in the next 4 weeks, that's the second month, you will learn the Azure proper. But the way it is now, for somebody who's completely new to IT, I cannot just take you to Azure. What will I be teaching you when you don't even know the basics? So for that reason, first of all, spend the first 1 month teaching you the basics and introducing you to the concept of cloud computing. Practically, we'll go into cloud, we'll set up things, we'll see how they work. By the time we're now using this solution to practice, you are now fully grounded and you understand what we're talking about. So that'll be the first 2 months. And then the next 2 months, which is what makes you a DevOps engineer, we will now talk about AWS Solutions Architecting in the first 2 weeks. We'll talk about infrastructure as code in the second 2 weeks. And then in the last 1 month, we'll now talk about all of the tools that we need to learn, practice, and use to deploy projects that would make us practical. So these are the projects that you are going to see in your portfolio that you can show to employers. Yes, I do not only understand what you are saying, I've also built projects around those concepts. Yeah? We use digital Jenkins. All right, at that level, you should be DevOps engineer and be able to get not just a good job at this time. We're talking about getting a great job and doing very well technically. No more fear. You have a very strong foundation. You know what you are doing. You're able to get the job and you're able to retain it because you've gone through proper training. And then, like we said, you can decide, okay, all of that was sweet, but I want to learn the latest technology. I want to be able to monitor my application, the kind of job that I'm seeing, the kind of job description that I'm reading. They're always mentioning Kubernetes. Let me just learn it too, so that I'm 100% ready, or maybe 90% ready for challenges out there. You want to go all the way and learn that. And like I said, this is expanding now to include Python programming using artificial intelligence. Right? We'll add that to this course so that everything will work. Because IT is not constant. In another 3 months now, only about less than 6 months ago, something happened in IT that is changing the whole of the terrain now. All right? Artificial intelligence with GBT. And so as these things are happening, we are integrating them into training so that it should make your work easier and brighten your chances of getting a job against the competition out there. So we cannot neglect. So as new technologies are emerging, because of the good foundation you would have had in your understanding of concept, it should not be so difficult to integrate. All right, and then at the end of the day, haven't gone through all of that program, this is not a separate course. You would have covered all of these projects one by one, at least 15 of them. You will know how to manage Linux, you will know how to automate infrastructure using, how to provision infrastructure using infrastructure as code. These are projects that you will do as part of it. You know how to set up and monitor applications, and so on and so forth. And then, I'm not sure if people like that are in class. There are people who may want to say, you know what, I don't have 5 months to spend on this program. I'm already IT literate. I just want to go straight to this practical. Just show me how to do IT operations, infrastructure provision in cloud. Only that, just show it to me practically. Let me go and learn. So you can come for only that one at $150. So all these are one-day workshop, but they are not separate. They are already embedded in the 5 months training. But like I said, for people who are already experts, who are already IT professionals, they know what they want. They don't have 5 months to be learning all over. You can just come here and pick the project. For example, they want to, how do you migrate services from on-prem to cloud? They can just say, you know what, that's what I'm interested in. Just set up a scenario and teach me that one. So that's what we have under the one-day workshop, or we just go straight. All right, so if anyone is interested in that, we'll just do that as well. So right now we have the 5 months training, and we have the shortcut to practical training, depending on what. All right, guys, so that's the overview in 1 hour of what IT is from the eye of the ITern, or from the perspective of being an IT professional as a DevOps. All right, so I'll take your questions now. If there's anything you need me to revise, let's say it, we'll do it.
All right, sir. Thank you for your deep explanation about that. In regards to everything you've explained to us now, so the total amount, if you want to do everything now from Linux to this thing, so how much is that going to be?
So if you want to do the 5 months training, if in the first 1 month, it will be $1,000. So that will cover, let's open that thing. That will cover the first 1 month will be Linux administrator and cloud,
Yeah.
1,000. Then second 1 month will be 600. Then the third month you pay 600 only. Then the fourth month you pay 1,000. Then the fifth month you pay 1,000. So altogether, over 5 months is $4,200.
Wow. Is this negotiable?
No. Unless we are giving discounts to everybody, we cannot give discount to one person at the end of the day.
Okay.
But these are monthly.
Yeah, I think others too will be interested in discount. So
No, yeah.
They need to speak up now so we can know where we're going.
Yeah. But the thing is, quality training. Even if we pretend we are giving discount, there's always something we are taking away somewhere. So it just depends on what you want. If it's quality training and you want access to all of this material and all of the tools that has taken us years to gather just to make your life easy, it may not be cheaper. But it's something else to just gather people and take $300 and do theory and not give them the real. Yeah, I know that it's a bit pricey, and that's why we don't have a crowd. Look at you now, I think you are just about 5 or 6 here, compared to other sessions where they will have like 20, 30 people. And then we are not able to, this is like coaching. So I'm reaching you one-on-one individually. This training is passing through you, not just the money. So I'm afraid that
Okay.
quality.
Another question I have, sir. Like after this training, do you probably have like resume or way of getting a DevOps job or something?
Yeah, we'll help with resume. So as part of the coaching, as part of the training, all of the classes, you see why I was asking questions and I wanted you to, this interactive session continues. So in the process, we are giving you interview questions. We are telling you specifically what interviewers want as it relates to each topic. And then we're helping you build portfolios that you can, you know what portfolio is? Projects that you have done by yourself and assembled in cloud that you can show to your interviewer.
Okay.
So yes, so that's part of the training. And of course, we have a resume that already has all of these keywords, all of these job roles inside it. So our own is just to train you to be able to defend that resume. It's already available.
Okay.
So, yeah, job and resume preparation is part of the training. And we will have this 500 questions document, but that's not important. The important thing is what we do in class, one-on-one. Right? You answer a question and say, yeah, that's fine, but it would be better if you put this, you put that. So yeah, we have different kinds of resume. Let me see if I can show you one. No, is it resume? No, interview. Let's show you. All right, for example, as for interview, you should be able to, most DevOps, in fact, all DevOps preliminary interview questions that qualify you for the re-interview. When the recruiter calls you to say, I saw your resume, this is what they expect you to explain, right? So as part of your interview material, you have all of these. Tell me about yourself. In 10 to 15 minutes, we'll have that prepared. So we'll just react all of this together.
Okay.
And then this, especially for the technical interview, so we have different material, but it's not really about the materials. It's about you are here, I'm here. You are doing it right, and I'm encouraging you, or you are not doing it right, and I'm showing you the review.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, sir. And sorry for
Finally,
my...
who is speaking now?
I'm so sorry. The kids were disturbing me so much, so I couldn't unmute my mic.
All right, Scarlett.
Yes. So concerning the job, what if we get a job and for being the first time, and we have an issue? Can you try to help during that time?
So how we do that? Not necessarily me, because I'm busy and might disappoint you. So
Okay.
once you complete the training, we'll make you a member of the alumni club.
Okay.
So there's an alumni group, WhatsApp group, where even when you are going on interview and you have, they asked me this question, can anybody help me? Just post it there, and members. The question you just asked, and that's the same reason they are there. So some of them have gotten jobs, some of them are just finishing training, and they are there. So you enjoy, it's a networking forum to enjoy this kind of benefit that you just talked about. So to answer your question, myself and the trainers are part of that forum, and then other trainees are part of that forum. All of us will be helping ourselves, not just one person.
Okay, thank you.
Wow.
Yes, sir.
And then when it gets to situations where I cannot help and they cannot help, I also have contact with some Indian guys who can be in the background.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. Yeah, questions?
So, like, are others okay with the price of what Mr. Akin said, or we should corporately talk about discounts and the amount?
No, discount is not something we can discuss unless it just comes from us, because other people are paying the fee. It is for my business. If I just give, we have this not. There are classes going on, and there are people who ask and we did not. So to suddenly give, it will ruin my business for me.
Okay.
It's not something I can give unless I have a reason for giving. And the reason could be such, it could be like, for example, the alumni, we are just introducing the Azure DevOps for the first time now. It's a new course. All right. No one in the alumni group has done Azure DevOps. So what we're going to do for every member of the alumni group is to deliver this Azure DevOps to them free of charge, even though it's 600, they are not paying. Right? So new people will be paying 600, but so these are the kind of benefits that they enjoy, even though they are paying. So to now, yeah, I don't know. The point I'm trying to make is I have people in the background that are watching, and if I do anything that they did not benefit from, they will crucify me. So whatever we are doing in terms of discount, in terms of new training, everybody must benefit. That's the way to carry everybody out. So discount is not something we can discuss in isolation. I'm afraid it's just part of the total package.
Okay, and also we are paying 1,000 for the start.
Yes, that's what it should be. But of course, if you come back to me to say, "Wow, that's high. Can I break that into two?" Yes, that's understandable. We can allow you to do that.
Okay.
But normally,
Like we can split it into two.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's possible.
Also, of the software we giving to us.
Enough. The materials I'm giving to you, especially on this course, this intermediate. Okay. Even if you just want to copy paste, as long as you understand the concept, you are not just doing it, you understand why you are copying and pasting. The materials are more than enough. Much more than enough. So yes, a lot of materials, a lot of tools, a lot of products. So your own is just open your ear, make sure you understand everything, ask questions where you don't understand. Once you get the concept right, then you are good to go. You are not looking for any material anywhere. Even if you need to go online to get material, I already have the documentation, the places to go to find material in case the materials change in future. They're already part of the.
So I have a question, sir.
Somebody says you can't unmute. Let me see. Yes, go on with your question.
Okay. You said Linux admins plus cloud basics 1,000. Azure DevOps. Does that mean if you do Linux admin, that's for 2 months, you come back, the next one will be the 600, which is the AWS solution architect. That makes it that's 4 months, making it 1.6, right?
4 months, making it 3.2. 3.2.
Oh, okay. So
the 4 months is made up of these two courses.
Okay. So 1.6.
Yes, 1.6.
Okay.
So at the end of this first 1 month, yeah, you are now you would be a Linux system administrator. The jobs are not so common, but some people they attempt to look for jobs even at that level. But the jobs are not so common, so the competition is. So at the end of this one, you become a Azure DevOps administrator. Yes, the jobs are there. There's 40% chance that you can get a job when you become Azure DevOps administrator. So that's why we are saying on top here. What did we say? That because of that chance and because you built it, we said somewhere that you can start looking for a job after 2 months.
After 2 months, yeah.
Yes.
That's after the 3.2.
After the 1.6.
Okay, yeah.
After the 1,006.
Yeah, but the percentage is 40%. So
yeah, by my rating.
Yeah, it's best to wait until after 2 months.
Yes, after 4 months, that will increase it to 70% chance.
Oh, okay. After 4 months, yes.
And then after 5 months, it will 80%. It can never be 100.
Okay,
but,
of course.
Yeah.
So somebody coming from cybersecurity and because he wanted to understand how some of these things works. So will Because the reasons why I'm saying this is because you are in a situation whereby you're talking about all of these things. You are in a meeting, you don't even understand because you don't have so much knowledge. The only thing you can do is just to have them. Okay, these servers that you are deploying have, just to ask them basic questions that any other person could ask. But coming to this class, you'll be able to understand, I believe, how it's been deployed. You'll be able to, speak to issues like this when it's been discussed in a meeting.
But definitely. And then you actually be telling them, why don't you use this approach? Why don't you use that approach? And then they'll be like, how did you learn all of this? Of course, we've had situations like that, yes. Even non-technical people like Scrum Masters, they come to grab these technical skills so that they understand their developers better. They're able to speak the same language, and it just makes their work easier. Yeah. Yes, so for somebody coming from a cybersecurity background, I don't know how much of Linux and the cloud you already know. You may want to jump that if you already know it, and then just go straight to.
Yeah, but the problem will be the Azure DevOps, which is the 600 underneath.
Yes. Okay. As in, you may not be able to understand that without this.
No, you I might understand Linux admin, but the problem will now be Azure DevOps.
Then you do just that Azure DevOps instead of repeating what you already understand. So you can go straight to Azure DevOps. You can just pay 600 and do only Azure DevOps.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then you can start. Okay.
As a cybersecurity person, my assumption is you're already very solid in that.
A little bit. Yeah, I've attended a few of your class also, even with basics, deploying an EC2 and all that.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. Then we make directory, remove directory files and all that. We did all of that.
Yeah, that's good. So that should be enough to go straight into DevOps, right?
Yeah, and I have a mobile extend.
Okay, mobile. Yeah.
So you use SSH to log in and create file, create folder, switch users and all that, use sudos and all that.
That's cool. That's cool. So you sound like you already know. So it's no use spending $1,000 when you already know what you are doing. So let's go straight to Azure DevOps. And even if you feel some gaps in the process, with what you just explained now, you should be able to go and do some revision, get some on your own without necessarily paying for it.
Okay, that's just so that how will I come in with this now under Azure DevOps? What
Azure
will
DevOps class, the time?
What will be timing now be?
6 p.m. to 9 p.m. till that time.
Okay, but it's going to be Azure DevOps class, not Linux admin class.
Can you see my screen, sir?
Yes, I can see your screen, sir.
I keep pointing these things, and yes. So we have 2 different classes. So if your question is, you are not going to wait for this guy. No, all of these classes are going on. So if so if you now want to say, you know what, okay, I want to go straight to Azure DevOps, then you join Azure DevOps class, jump in Linux and admin. You join that for what's that? Mondays and Tuesdays. That will be on the 3rd. Monday the 3rd. That's when Azure DevOps.
Okay. Interesting. Okay. So sorry to disturb you also. There was this one I saw that says Monday to Friday. I think 10 o'clock in the morning, 10 o'clock EST, or to the other one.
Yeah, that one is daily workshop. So that's it. If you can still see my screen. So this one, it will just take only one topic and treat it one day, practically. For example, on Friday, we're going to do projects to design and implement highly available cloud architecture. Just that project, only that project, not a full. So for example, this Wednesday, we'll just talk about how to set up remote and local repository. It's a daily workshop, 150 per workshop per day. You don't get it. So this is a whole lecture. That one is specifically practical. That's what we call it, workshop. So it's an alternative to this other training. So instead of doing Azure DevOps, for example, for full month, which is very detailed. You may want to do it for 2 days, and then it's not very detailed. You just go straight into practical. But this one is assuming that you already know all of it. So that's it. It's a different approach. It's an alternative way to invest.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Yeah. Same thing, but different approach. For people who are so busy, they don't even have. There are some people who are so busy, they don't even have 1 month, even 1 week to take off their schedule. You can say, okay, you know what? Let me take this one on this Monday. Let me take this one. And 3 days, they get what they want on Monday. All right.
So we'll be having access to the live video after class, right?
Yes, all classes are recorded. And 2-3 hours after class, you'll have the link, the private video. Then you have link for it. And then you also have access to the materials. So everything we do in class is already documented. Like I was saying earlier on, so all of the commands are already in a manual format. We'll give you the manual. And then what you need to do is just repeat the practicals that we have done. By the time you repeat, and you get used to it, we'll now give you your own project. Okay.
But sir, going straight to the, without receiving any lecture, going straight to the 1 day practical.
No, it's not for you at all.
Okay,
It's not possible.
that's
It's
what I
not
want
possible.
to
It's not possible. That's for people like the person who spoke earlier on, because you already
know much about it.
Yeah, you already have the foundational skills. So
okay.
For people that are completely new to IT, what is more important is the understanding, the grasping of concepts. You don't want to do copy and paste or just work robotically. You want to know why stuff happen and why you are doing it. And then occasionally things will fail. You don't want to be taken unaware when things fail. If you don't have a proper understanding, you will not know what to do. How to troubleshoot and resolve issues. So it's very important that you understand how things work so that when they don't work the way they should, you know what to do to bring them back. That's called troubleshooting. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yes, guys. So that's about it. Have we answered all of your questions? So, and then, of course, when we're ready for class, we'll come here. NCC, this place. So this is the page where we register. So we'll take the course. The particular course you want to register for. For example, the first one is 1,000. For the person that may want to break this into 2, you will need to reach me so that we'll look for alternative way of making payment. You don't have this prepared. But if you are going to pay through this, then you just click learn more, and then you click register for this course, and then you click that course, and you make payment.
So can we select all at once, or we just one after the other?
One after the other.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, one after the other.
So
yeah, but occasionally we have people paying and everything at once, and they say, you know what? If I keep this money, I will eat it. So let me just pay everything in advance. Yeah. So in that case, I can raise a link for you. I think we have something like that. Let me see. I can raise a link for you to pay all of the money, like I did for somebody only. Where is it? Okay, it's not displayed here. Yeah. Otherwise, it's just okay. The one that you're interested in, DevOps and containerization, 1 month training. Okay, so yeah, when you're ready, that's the place to go and make payment and then come back home.
What if I'm not ready to pay the 1,000? I want to split it into 2.
Then you contact me so that we look for. Maybe you can do Zelle or do another method of payment instead of.
Okay.
So this was one of the this guy just paid after only 10 minutes of conversation. This was one of the guys that paid everything actually. Ghanaian. So it happens. If you feel like, then let me know and then we can give you the link. All right. Any more questions? What the chat say? I can't unmute. Who cannot unmute? Let me see. Akin. Okay, let's see.
Yeah, I think you sent me the same message. Yeah, could not.
Okay, he left already.
Oh, told me he couldn't. Ah, he left.
Yeah, he left.
Oh, we all came together. We all attended your Linux class.
Oh wow. Okay.
Together.
Okay. It was you that was saying you and your friends, right?
Yeah.
No, one of you.
That was
No, not me. Not me.
That was just.
yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay. That's good. All right. So depending on the specific course you want to pursue after this orientation, if you let me know, I'll be able to add you to the Artifactory class. Okay. Yes. So apart from the new class, which is the $1,000 class, all classes are already available. We'll just add you to the appropriate one and then install. As for the what is it again? As for this one, I'll be taking that starting next Monday. This is my class. This Linux admin and cloud. So I'll take that. You'll be in my class. And then Microsoft Azure will be going on concurrently by a different trainer. And then irrespective of which of these you join, if you want to do this, you'll be coming back to my class. So I want to be the first person to bring you in, spend 1 month with you, and the last person that you see before you leave, that I can add you to the. So that's the way it's been arranged.
So, sir, if I should understand, so the first one, which is the Linux admin plus cloud basic, is going to be Monday, right?
Yeah, it will be Mondays and Wednesdays, yes.
But what about the Azure DevOps? That's going to be another month.
Yes, another Monday and Wednesday.
Okay.
Same, just continuation of that. So the first 2 months will stay at Mondays and Wednesdays.
Okay.
But after that, if you are not going to the next 1 month after we move into class, the next 2 months after that will be Tuesdays and Thursdays. And then the last one, the advanced course will be Saturdays. All right, guys, let me now take your time if there are no more questions. Apologies to Akin. So since you guys are together, we explain to him. And of course, this video will also be available. I'll this video together. You can, I'm sure that whatever question you had to ask, that you somehow answered, you will find the answer in the video. Thank you very much. And then depending on what class you'll be doing, I'll see you again, either in my class or in the other classes.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you very much,
Thank you, sir.
All right, guys. That's it for today. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Yeah.